Alright, I got a new microphone. Hopefully this sounds good. Alright, here we go, layer 3. The Stanley Parable. The Stanley Parable is a first-person exploration game that explores themes of choice, freedom, and game constraints. Or at least that's what Google says. Before the making of this video, I sat down and played some of the game, and it's not hard to see why it's on the iceberg. Empty offices and some other equally barren areas are all really good for liminal spaces. But while I'm on the Stanley Parable, I do recommend that you play it. It is a really interesting game with some thought-provoking themes that I bet some of you would enjoy. Rip Franz. R.I.P. Franz.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I wish I could just glide upstairs like this, man.
If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the
scared me.
large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Whatever you say, narrator man. DashCon. DashCon was a convention for Tumblr users that took place in July of 2014. If you know anything about DashCon, you know where this is going. DashCon was a massive failure, mostly because of its financial problems and terrible leadership. Because of this, a lot of people left DashCon and it became just a sad, empty convention center. And you might have even seen some of these images, especially the famous, the infamous ball pit. It's just a ball pit in a big empty room. The ball pit does seem like a good time, but allegedly someone peed in it, so I wouldn't jump in there if I were you. I Spy. Kelly Robinson and Alexander Scott are a couple of tennis bums who mooch their way around the world. Wait a second. That's better. I Spy is a children's book series from the 1990s with picture riddles where you're tasked to find certain items on each page. But ever since 2004, the I Spy books have ceased production. But because of their old age and childlike dreamscapes, some of these pictures from some of these books have a very liminal feel to them. I did some more research on what makes these images very aesthetically pleasing. The main reason being its handcrafted imagery and heavy emphasis on kids' toys, you know, the whole nostalgia thing. It's mainly the reason why these books are so quaint and easy on the eyes. They also call it trinket core. I get why they call it that, but come on guys, we don't have to put core in front of everything. First photo ever taken. This photo, disguised as an art student's first attempt at a charcoal landscape, was believed to be one of the oldest photos taken from a camera, which is a view from a, oh here we go, Le Gras window.
Le gras.
The fat.
From either 1826 or 1827, which if I'm being honest with you, I'm not really sold on as a liminal space, but who knows, you might see things differently. But it's on the iceberg, so I'm covering it. But I do think this entry is very fascinating, it being related to history and all. The Glover Room, Scott the Woz. Scott the Woz is a pretty popular figure here on YouTube. With just about 2 million subscribers as of recording this video, this is just referring to a 3-second clip from one of his videos.
Glover! Can you believe I have a room for a game I never played?
What do you mean, yes?
The Glover room is pretty liminal, don't get me wrong, but I would like to learn more about this image, like where is this from? After researching for a bit, the closest I got to figure out where this image was from was on Twitter, where a tweet by search_this posted this image saying it was an abandoned house in Australia. I also DM'd Mr. Waz himself to see if he knows anything more about this image. I'm sure he'll get back to me any minute now, he's probably just a busy guy. Photos of Corinthia Hotel. This entry wasn't very meaty. Googling this image gave me next to nothing other than this image I found. Pretty much nothing of note, so I'm just gonna move on. Greatest freakout ever bedroom. Just like the entry in the last layer about the never gonna give you up video, this entry is all about an iconic video while taking the main focus out of the picture, leaving you to just look in the background. The feeling that something is not quite right is strong with this image because of the feeling that something is missing. Also, I completely forgot this video existed until doing research on this video, so I'm kind of glad I was reminded of this amazing video.
Okay, my mom just canceled my brother's World of Warcraft account, and he is freaking out.
Superliminal. This is just like the Stanley Parable in the fact that you're traversing a bunch of empty hallways, offices, and other barren rooms. Just you and the unsettling emptiness. And the fact that the game is literally all about illusions and forced perspectives, along with the game being called Superliminal. Liminal is literally in the name. You would hope a game like that would have some good liminal spaces here and there. Okay, I know next to nothing about this game, but I've heard it's pretty cool. So, yeah. What's in here? I didn't know this was a scary game.
Hello, my name is Dr. Glenn Pierce. In the event that this elevator does not wake you up, please don't interact with anything that strikes you as psychologically significant, as we will no longer have any way of controlling it. For example, if you see your parents, please punch them in the face as hard as you can and immediately run away.
Okay. You got it, Mr. Pierce.
Why do I feel like everything is going wrong, even when the sun is shining?
Guys, I'm scared. I'm like genuinely scared. I don't want to play this anymore. Okay, that's kind of funny. Bruh. But I'm a brave boy. I don't get scared. I don't play horror games because they're a waste of time, not because I'm scared.
Warning. You have deviated from the orientation pathway. At the Pierce Institute, patient safety is a keynote in our corporate priority tetrahedron. A variable degree of force can and will be authorized to ensure patient safety. Please return to the orientation pathway.
Please use other door. Us, 2019. Us is a movie from 2019 that follows the Wilson family fighting for survival against 4 masked strangers, only to find out when the mask comes off, the strangers resemble each other. The entry only has 1 image on Reddit. How do people find some of these, man? How do people make icebergs? Nintendo 2DS camera. So the Nintendo 2DS and 3DS both have cameras, and they weren't all that good, but they were really good for capturing liminal spaces. Because of the poor quality of the camera, it made it a lot easier for any given picture to be pretty liminal. Some of these images look very dreamlike, like how some of these are very blurry, like what you're looking at isn't really, well, real, has like a dream feeling to it, you know what I mean? Pool rooms. I'm very surprised that this is all the way down in the 3rd layer because I thought this was pretty well known. Like if you Google liminal spaces, I feel like a pool room would be like one of the first few images you would see. But for those who do not know, pool rooms are a maze-like liminal space with white tiles and water, sometimes with slides, actually a lot of times with slides, and dark backgrounds. Again, very common liminal space. I see them all the time on Instagram and other socials. Onion.wave is who I see this type of stuff from the most. So if you want to go give them a look, they're on Instagram. So go check them out if you want to see some more cool liminal spaces. Also, broccoli poisoning is also really good for this type of stuff. Shout out to him. He makes actually like pretty entertaining content. He has like a voiceover too, which is sometimes really funny. Definitely give them a look.
The Terracotta Army. Do you think there's a beast or foul creature back there? Say hello to all your adoring Aww. Is que ime on the Outhme, por favor. Your Honor, my client Okay. Your Honor, my client has even more footage of the stage area. Your Honor, my client wants to know what the architects were thinking with this room. Your Honor, my client wants to end this bit. Look at my dog, lawyer. I'm going to jail. You smell that? Yeah, sorry. Someone got hungry. Are there any spooks up there? This scary hallway is no match for Philip Shoebuckle. Neither is this chain. Philip Shoebuckle does it again. Finally, they ditched the color scheme. You smell that? Yes, Philip, can you please hold it next time? No, that's the smell of success. Welcome.
Jared Pike. Speaking of pool rooms, Jared Pike is a 3D artist and creator of the pool rooms. He is a New York-based artist and designer who mostly explores themes of nostalgia and unsettling interiors, so basically just liminal spaces. He has a website that's just his name, jaredpike.art, so if you want to check out some of his art, definitely go do. He does a bunch of cool stuff that's mostly just pool rooms, but he does some lo-fi stuff too. Empty Kmart. Just like Party City or Piggly Wiggly, Kmart is a dying breed. Google said that there's a few stores left, so anywhere from 3 to 8 are still up and running, probably not for much longer. But while Kmart might be gone, the physical shopping center will still be there, run down and forgotten. Well, at least until they destroy that too, and then the Kmart will truly die. But until then, we still got some vacant lots to take pictures of and put on the internet. Empty Sears. Just like Kmart, Sears is also a store that is basically gone forever. Apparently there are 8 Sears locations left throughout the US, which is crazy in my opinion. I guess if certain bankrupt stores are popular enough in a certain area, then I guess they just get to stay open. But to be honest, no one really goes to Sears anymore anyway, and that's before they close down. But back to Liminal Sears. Just like Kmart, Sears is also an empty husk of what it once was, only living on through people's memory, and these liminal images, of course. Pretty much the exact same as Kmart, just a dead/dying store, and you already know how good those are for liminal spaces. VR Chat's Liminal Worlds. This entry is very similar to the Gmod entry in the last layer of the iceberg, in the sense that it's an off-putting online world that no one seems to inhabit. VR Chat, for those who don't know, is a virtual reality game where you can interact with other players in social settings. This is also the game where you can make and customize your own avatars, leading to some really strange interactions. Like, you could be Cell from Dragon Ball Z talking to Hatsune Miku in the back rooms. So actually, should give this game a try. It's actually pretty cool. Check out my new key! Some of these liminal spaces look like they are from something else other than a VR chat room game from nearly a decade ago. Like, I genuinely do not believe that some of these images is just from a VR chat server. Although it would be pretty raw to see Shaggy and Garfield having a dialogue in a liminal hellscape. I just looked it up. VR headsets are very expensive and also hard to set up, so I probably won't be able to play this game anytime soon. Unfortunate for me. Lilith Waterworld.
Leith.
Leith Waterworld. Now this is what I'm talking about. This place, once known as the Leith Waterworld, was an indoor water park in Edinburgh, Scotland. Edinburgh, Scotland. And I say was because sadly since 2012 it is no longer open, now being a Wonderworld soft play, which looks pretty awesome in its own right, I can't lie. Would have loved to have gone here when I was younger. But enough about Wonderworld, let's get back to Waterworld. This place also looked like it would have kicked ass with its water slides going all over the park. There even being some Gmod maps of this place. That's called a callback. But unfortunately, due to not making enough money, the place had to close down. So if you're sad that we lost a pretty cool and liminal water park, just blame the Scottish. Baldi's Basics in Education and Learning. I was a little worried when first doing research on this entry because of it being baby's first horror game, but I was pleasantly surprised on what I found. The cool thing about liminal spaces, and one of the main reasons I enjoy them so much, is because it's not hard to make one. Almost any old or off-putting image can be considered liminal as long as it invokes a feeling of loss or unease. As long as it invokes a feeling of loss or unease, you will have yourself a good liminal image. Baldi's Basics is a good example of this. All this game did was emulate a school with the style of an old 90s point-and-click adventure game, and it has some really darn good liminal spaces in here. I really love the grainy textures for the floor and ceiling the most, as they just go on and on and on. Especially when the hallways are mad long. They make you feel like you're going insane.
Mommy! Mommy! Mommy!
LSD Dream Emulator. From one video game to another. This game released in Japan in 1998 for the original PlayStation. This was more of an experience than your typical game. The game had no objectives, so the point of the game was just to wander around and touch stuff. Unfortunately, people didn't really understand the more artsy type of game, so this didn't really sell well, so it was only released in Japan. The whole game was based on a dream journal that one of the employees of the game studio had. And I gotta say, if that guy wasn't on LSD at the time, I would be shocked. And you already know that a game called LSD Dream Simulator is gonna have some wacky and weird liminal spaces. If you want to try to play this fascinating work of art yourself, good luck trying to find one that's under $1,000. There's no end to these words I can't pronounce. Anemopolis. Anemoiopolis.
Anemoiopolis.
That is a first-person psychological horror game made by Andrew Quest, an indie dev team. The game takes place in a ton of liminal spaces, so malls, pool rooms, offices, you name it, they have it. If you're anything like me, and you actually want to walk in creepy liminal spaces by yourself, just wandering around in real life, then this game is for you. At least this is as close as we can get to actually, experiencing that. It's still a video game.